You know, we've heard the word transparency many times from President Obama. Listen.
We have been certified by independent groups as the most transparent White House in history. There are checks and balances, that there's sufficient oversight, sufficient transparency.
Well, we've made huge swaths of your government more efficient and more transparent and more accountable than ever before.
Transparency. It's very important to have that in any kind of government. But if the White House is all about transparency, why did it reject a law that exposes the hacks into healthcare.gov? Joining us now is National Review columnist and Fox News contributor John Funn. And John, why don't we know about hackers into healthcare.gov?
It's bizarre. Target, which had a big security breach last week, had to inform all of its 40 million customers.
Right.
Some of the state healthcare exchanges have to inform their customers, like Minnesota. But the federal government doesn't. It declared itself exempt, even though it was begged by security experts, please alert people if there's a security breach.
All for good reasons, because people are putting their personal information on the line by enrolling through healthcare.gov. So is the government turning a blind eye to this?
Well, they're turning a blind eye to a lot. Last week, we learned from the House Oversight Committee that Teresa Fryer, who's the Chief Information Officer at the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare, they're the people who run the website, she refused to sign off on the security of the website, and her boss refused to sign off on it. They said it's not secure. Instead, they launched on October 1st anyway, and the only political appointee at the Centers for Medicaid and Medicare was the one who actually had to sign the authorization to launch it.
Well, you know, President Obama also went online as well. Not the president himself, but his aides went online for him. And obviously because he's a president and in charge of the free world.
And he's not going to get the plan anyway.
He can't put his personal information on there. But what I'm hearing from so many people is that those in government are not so secure in the security of healthcare.gov. So what's being done about it to address it?
Well, there's a bill by Congresswoman Diane Black from Tennessee that would address it, force the government to stop this ridiculous posture, one law for thee, one law for me. I mean, that's not what a democracy is supposed to be all about. But we don't know right now, except if we believe the government, that there are any security breaches. Because legally, they can say, well, it wasn't really a security breach, it was something else. We need clear guidelines. And not because we don't trust the people in government, but because we want complete transparency. Just like Target had to tell its customers what happened, so too should the government.
And Target, of course, affected 40 million plus people, so we don't know how many people are being affected through healthcare.gov.
Right, and some of that information from Target is already on the black market being sold.
Exactly.
So we don't know if there's been a security breach, and certainly, given the fact that these government officials wouldn't sign off on it, this website, healthcare.gov, is extremely vulnerable.
And we do know that this has been a problem anyway, especially when you have the navigators of healthcare.gov not having their own background checks.
Two things that can happen inadvertently. One is Minnesota, they found out that 2,500 people's social security numbers and other information were released accidentally. That he had to report that to people, and it's been rectified. But the navigators, these hundreds of thousands of people that are paid to go out and help you navigate the system. Well, they have access on something called the Federal Data Hub. The Federal Data Hub is a conglomeration that brings all of your personal information in one place. The navigators can access it. These navigators do not have to go through a federal background check for criminal behavior. Census workers 3 years ago did, but not the navigators, even though they have access to far more important information.
Far more important. John, we thank you for bringing your insights and perspective on this. Certainly, it's a dangerous slope that we're on. We've got to keep watching this as it develops. John Funn, thanks for joining us.